You're
All
like,
right, all right, all right, guys. We got
we're
people's
nerding out. We're
attention right
nerding
here.
out. Sorry.
We have people's attention here, and we have a lobster-headed Chad on the screen. Chad, you got the big screen. Give it to us.
What the hell are you talking about?
Hopefully that poem that you wrote. I hope that's what he meant.
Hey, Shane, you're the third wave red pill dude?
Yep.
You scary son of a bitch.
I don't know. Sleepers, yeah, might as well be third wave because Sleeper Cell Shane is too fucking hard to say.
All of them are hard to say.
True enough. Matt is appreciating people out there.
Yes.
With an upside down smiley face. Good to see you, Matt. Magic with the lobster monkey emoji. Tails laughing at something. All right, where are we at? He's still laughing at something. Apparently, we're hilarious, guys.
So I do have a public service announcement. You guys.
Hey, you guys.
Listen.
Whoa. Bye, Gavin.
Bye, Gavin. Well, he didn't need to hear this. He already has several of these. They're called children. You should reproduce. We need to reproduce. We're losing people on the planet. So, well, we're not losing.
I'm pretty sure that Benjamin Boyce clip I just played said plenty of people are having babies. It's just going to have consequences.
It's the ones that aren't having the babies. They're the ones that are saying, we'll have them tomorrow, and then they don't have them tomorrow. And then so, like, things are happening. At least that's...
Yeah, it's like that movie Idiocracy, but it reminds me of when I was in high school and a naive young lad who thought I had the answers to everything. I was like, I know how to end racism. You just... arrange marriages until everybody's mauve or whatever color comes out. I mean, but that was long before I realized that racism is a ginger plot to make it not about hair color.
Did you watch that film that apparently was already in the Broken Clock Tower? And then
it was really good.
Watched that whole thing.
Yeah,
that's kind of nuts, dude. I think we got some down the pipe. Oh, sorry.
To those of you out in the audience, that film that was apparently already in the clock tower Chad just referred to is that Birth Gap film. If any of you have seen it, I'm not going to bring it up, but it's about surprise when society gets comfortable, they quit having babies and they get below this thing called the replacement level, where like all the people we're taxing to pay for everything have gotten old and gone out of taxing, and there's not enough tax money coming in anymore, or workers coming in anymore, or whatever, because all those people did not make babies. And now what are you going to do?
Yeah. We're basically approaching a reverse plan, something like that.
Do any of you have children?
Not yet. I'm trying though, man. Let me tell you, it's a lot of fun to try. But it's totally regrettable because, like, when I was a kid, probably from the age of 10 until maybe 25, I would say it would be completely unethical for me to have kids because people are evil in life, but not like. And then I came to a point in my adulthood where I'm like, I'm a total jackass asshole. I should have. Why did I have that? It was bad. It wasn't a good thing to think that, because I possibly put something into the universe that sadly came true. And my brother has 3 kids, and I really noticed this when I watched him interact with his kids. I was like, I really missed out on something very important. Anyways, I'll stop talking.
We got Peter Zehan approves of this message from Teo, and Matt with, think about Gen Z taking care of my childless ass is about as scary as it can get. My family runs a board and care home. It's all a mess at the end.
Right.
I'll just say with regard to the children's question, like having children is different from making children. So I've never had any children. I can say that honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know that on my dad's side of the family, I've got 7 cousins, and there's my daughter, and then one of my cousins just had 1 child. So I mean, if that's any indicator of how quick it's collapsing, it's going fast. And these are all people who could very easily breed if they chose to.
But breeding into what is the thing? I mean, at least as it's portrayed in the news media, this is not a place you'd want. Like, I don't know. My personal experience of life on the planet has been such as it's like, why did you do this to me? Did I do something wrong in some other land and I was sent here for a life sentence to learn my lesson for what I missed? Like, so. But
Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I was preoccupied with what Grim Grizz was just saying because Grim Grizz, you know from the email I sent you that's why the idea of what you just said, and then the idea of you being crucified, that's hard. That doesn't seem like you deserve it if you felt like that. I mean, we all feel like that sometimes, but if you felt like that more often than you deserved to feel,
I'll
pick
tell
and
you.
choose your punishments.
I'll tell you straight up exactly why I deserve to be crucified. Because like my ego manifestation has been so intense that at one point in my life, I was like, so Jesus died for my sins? Those are mine. I want to die for my own. How dare you? How dare you take that from me? And so that level of ego is probably warranted being pelted on the cross with a paintball, I would think. It's been bad in here. I can't explain that to people.
I've felt a lot of what you're saying, Grizz, about your life experience and like your perception of it. I don't know if you still like carry that same perception as strongly as maybe you once did, but so I've carried that. And then for me, I had to I was kind of forced in a position to have to look at things differently. And I still fall into the.
I think I've heard a pregnancy will do that to a lot of folks. Like, because like no matter how much you're selfish and suffering yourself, once you have you got to keep that alive, bro.
Right.
Like that you don't have time to worry about how miserable your own thing is because there's a life depending on it.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this morning, listening to like some of these, how they say like women. Some of the excuses we hear are people are saying, well, we have to take care of our careers and then we'll do it later. But I don't know. I think having a child, it seems like, would be the most sacrificial thing one could probably do. And then like the insane thing is like women will have more than one. Some women will have more than one child. And like it's crazy because it's like how much physical pain and attention is going into that, and then they repeat that a couple times, and you think that's just like it's like an amazing sacrifice that people are willing to do. I just
see you, Josh.
It's important. I think it's all of like the crises that we're engaged in or talk about are all kind of tying in with this particular very important problem.
Well, Chad, the only thing I saw that seemed missing from that documentary was they didn't touch on the marriage rate at all. So the marriage rate is dropping as fast or faster than the birth rate. So, I mean, they kept skirting around it and saying, we can't find any commonality here. But it does seem like there were quite a few changes that occurred. Go ahead, Chad.
There's a part 2 that I haven't watched yet. Apparently, you have to pay for that.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
So Chris Show says, I just drove by 2 homeless people praying together. And I'm pretty sure his next comment is going to be, I stopped and said, hey, were y'all praying for $10 and gave it to him, but I'm not positive. Stephanie with, you can't imagine how difficult, terrifying, and rewarding it is to have children until it happens. It will keep your ego in check. Just my experience. I just know what I've done to my poor mother. And like, I think one of the things we're facing is that a lot of the people who are wanting to have children these days are going to be, and without medical assistance,
Mm.
are going to only be able to have one. And because of how long they waited pursuing their career and whatnot.
Right. But like you said, the things you've done to your poor mother, I bet if you were to ask her, she would still do it again. You know?
Yes. That doesn't mean I want to put myself through it.
And that's what I'm talking about as far as sex. But people will say, like, well, I have a career that I have to get. And it's like, that might be the excuse. But underneath that excuse might just be what you said. I really don't want to suffer through that. Like, why would I do that when I can, like, do whatever I want? I'm an adult. Like, what it means for me to be an adult, this is really messed up. This is what makes it so great about that I'm an adult, is I can go to the grocery store and buy all the Oreos I want. And I can eat them anytime that I want. And that's pathetic. Like, that's what it means for me to be an adult, And
You're so free and liberated, but that's what they promised us when we were growing up. We're like, I want ice cream. You can get all the ice cream you want when you're an adult. So we were programmed that way, Chad. But like, to the extent I've actually put my mind on it, right? The root problem is the aim is not making good citizens. Like, we have the gross domestic product, which is how much we can extract from the environment. But the fine domestic product would be the caliber of the human beings a city creates. The character. But we don't, like, this. Just, how do I define character? What's a man of low character? What's a man of high character? Why is that such a murky topic for our society? And then we have, if nobody is growing up in a first draft worth repeating, and when I say first draft, I mean the first draft of their family life. Like, I came from the unwanted pregnancy of I was an unwanted pregnancy from an unwanted pregnancy. And so I had no model for, like, what I was supposed to try and build with a woman in my life as an adult. And nobody is getting a good first draft anymore because they've taken the mothers out of the homes to the extent they exist at all. Rant over.
Yeah, there's an old Peterson clip I've been trying to look for that I can't find, but he says something like, any society that doesn't put women and motherhood at the top of its hierarchy is doomed to fail. And when he heard it, it kind of sent chills up my spine, because I was like, that seems a little too familiar. And so anybody out there who can find that clip, find it, send it to me, because it's a really, really scathing comment, which is true if you think about it. I mean, yeah.
Well, Chad, didn't you say the other day that before you got dogs, they used to kind of irritate you when they'd come up and lick you and things like that, but now it's
Yep.
totally changed? I think the same thing would happen with a kid, where when I spend time with my daughter and I'm telling her, yeah, we can have some Oreos, but you can only have so many Oreos. That's a way more rewarding feeling than me being able to eat an unlimited amount by myself.
Right.
So even if you have a rough first draft, and by rough I mean bad, I think that it's that same thing where it's like, well, even the shenanigans you pulled, your mother would redo it. I think that would definitely work in the same way. For me, I know I'm not necessarily planning on having any more children because I wasn't married when I had my daughter. And now I get surprises like, hey, I'm moving out of state. And so the options are, I can either move to that new state or I can have way less time with my daughter. And so that's why I recently moved, not super far away, but to a different state. And then it's like rebuild my life. And that's rebuild it until she decides to move again. So that's kind of the quandary where I see it. I know not everyone's in that situation, but
There's plenty of it out there. And
Well-
like
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
that you want to be that involved doesn't happen a lot too. Like she moves with the kid, and that's the last the dude ever sees of him. So we're in a tight spot as far as the culture and everything. Like we beat Russia, so it looked like everything was fine. But now what's really going on is starting to be seen, I think.